And welcome back. Welcome to video 2. We're going to make ourselves another program. So, first things first, as with last time, we're not keeping this whole, int x, int y, int z equals. So we're just going to delete that. Please remember to keep the IO stream in the standard name set here. So, what we're going to do on this one is we're going to make ourselves adding variables program. So we're going to learn how to add some variables together. Because before we made strings and we made bools and we made all that sort of fun stuff, we're just going to add things together. And I'm just going to show you a few things. Now, obviously, we kind of can't add a bool together because how do you add a false and a true? How do you add a true and a true? That doesn't make sense. There's only two options. It's either true or false. So we're just going to, kind of ignore that. So we're just going to, but we are going to use the other four. So let's just start out by saying, something like, welcome to the adding variables program. I also recommend you, make a couple new lines. And of course, we'll just end it out right there. So, by the way, the spaces of white space that I have in between these lines really honestly don't matter. But I just like them there because, it's visible for me to see, and I like that. So how about we make ourselves a couple of variables here? So let's just say string, because remember we have to declare what it is first, and we know it's going to be a string, so I'll just name this example string1 equals, and let's just say banana. And end it with a semicolon, and then I'll make another one, string example string 2, and that's going to equal to, and remember remember to use your quotes for strings, your double quotes, and then I'll say example, whoops, let's remember to declare an integer first, example int. And I'm going to go and try and say, I'm going to try and be cheeky here, and I'm going to say 50.1. But, Professor, you said that integers can't do decimal points. You are correct. We will just see an example of why we can't do decimal points in a moment. And, let's do a float. Example float. And let me capitalize that I because I like doing that just so I see the deviation in the words. Not minus equals. There we go. And I'll make this guy also 50.1. There we go. Now you'll notice it does try to color code things, like anything that's red is a string, anything that's pink should be like a naming convention, except for string for some bizarre reason. Anything that's blue is a number. So, it tries to help. So, anything that's, green is a comment. So, it should try to help you out in everything. So, if you don't see things in the right color on the screen, that probably should tell you right away that there's an error somewhere. So, stop and just go back and look and see what your error is, okay? I can't tell you to do that, through a video because, I don't see a hand up in the class. But just, if something doesn't look right, pause the video, go back, and let's try and find it, okay? I guarantee you, by the end of these videos, I will have working, functioning code for you to look at. And then, let's try, let's not use a char, because chars will work the exact same way as chars will work in the exact same way as a string. So we'll just, skip a char for this one. So we're only going to use 4 different variables here. Now, I recommend if you have any variables you need, you set them, up at the top all together so you don't lose them. But, you don't have to. Matter of fact, in my example here, I have this glorious mess of code, but you're not seeing the glorious mess of code. So let's just start with, cout. Computer output, remember, that means computer output. example of strings. You know, and I'll just say, actually no, let me go string words, okay? Example string words. This is beautiful English, David. Word is banana. Just to remind people. Just to remind people. And let's just make a few tabs over. And we're just going to go and say C out. And we'll just say example string 1 plus example string 1. Now, how are you going to add the word banana and banana together? That doesn't seem to make much sense. And then just for the sake of, you know, doing, just for the sake of spacing, I'm going to also add another line or two. There we go. And one should be fine. Oops. There we go. So how are we going to add banana and banana together? Well, let's just go and see. And here's what it does. It does banana, banana. It literally added string 1, which is banana, to string 1 again, which is banana. So it made banana, banana. Okay, well that's obvious what would happen. I mean, it's a word. You can't really math a word, right? And no, this is not using algebra. We have not declared, you know, x equals 50 or anything like that yet. But in theory, you could do that, but that's going to require more steps. So, you know what, let's just copy, paste, and this time let's just do, this is a string, but this time this string is numbers, okay? And, you know, so the number is 50, right? 50, and so this is example string 2, example string 2. Let's see what this happens, because this time we have a string of 50. So clearly 50 plus 50 is going to equal 100, right? Okay, what did you expect me to say? It's because I spelled it incorrectly. There we go. Oh, well, no, it didn't. It did 50-50 again. So even if you have numbers in a string, it will not math, okay? Just want you guys to know that. So, but now we're going to get into stuff that we actually can math. So this is example, this time, example integer numbers. Number is 50.1. And something tells me I'm going to need one less tab. And this time I'll make sure it's example integer plus example integer. So remember, the number is 50.1. What's it going to give me? Because I named it example int, not example integer. Once again, constant reminder, remember your naming conventions. So now, even though it's 50.1, you'll notice it gave me a positive 100. Why is that? Because remember, integers can only do whole numbers. So really, it just did 50 plus 50, which is 100. Okay? It does not remember any decimal points. So let's just copy this. This time, let's do the float. Okay? This is a float number. Number is 50 times 50, so... And actually, this one looks like it probably will need that third slash tab. And let me just capitalize the float because I like doing that. Example float. And example float. Execute. As you see this time, it does give me 50.1 plus 50.1, which is 100.2. And I did not need that second that third t after all. So, let's do this again. This time, let's do example, let's just say, let's add the float and the integer. The float and the integer. Oh, this is going to be a one-tabber, isn't it? So this time, I'll put the example int with the example float. And now, once again, you see, remember, the float remembers it's 50.1. The integer only remembers itself being 50. Therefore, it's 100.1 instead of 100.2. See how that works? And now let's go for the crowning achievement. Let's add. Okay, let's also have proper English with my spelling there, David. Let's add the string and the integer together. So let's add the string. And this time it'll be, and it doesn't really matter which side of this I put it on. Example string 2, because that's the one that actually kind of has a number in it. Execute. Now, if you obviously notice, and you see all of this that just happened, clearly you cannot add a number and a word, or in this case, this word, it's a string and a number together. It cannot be done. So I'm just going to comment that out, and just for the sake of being funny, I'm going to put error. And then, you know what, I'll, end that. And you know what, let me just add another /n here, just because I like seeing a couple /n's. Then I'll just, return 0, because, I know I got to the end of the thing. Oops, and that's right, you don't want the brackets. You just want a 0. There we go. I'm doing a different coding right there with the parentheses. And obviously it did not actually give us an output error. I had to type that in manually because I had to comment out the actual thing. But you saw all the errors that we had there, okay? Now, we will learn how to make a string and integer work well together, but that's not for this video. So this program is just, here it is. We have just shown off how it is we're going to do some certain things. Okay? That's all it is. This is just how they added themselves together. And that's a pretty good lesson of how these variable types fit together. So once you have this, go ahead, save it, submit it, and you're good. It's the end of the video. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. For those that want to jump ahead, or for those that want to wait till Thursday, you can wait till Thursday for the next 2 videos. But thank you very much. You have a great day.